Long time no see, everybody. We are the When We Were Kids, a Time Capsule Toys podcast. We took a short break, but now we're back. We'll call it our season opener or something of that nature. Toy How returns October 12th. We have Wardlow, we have Harley Cameron, we have Danhausen, we have Brian Myers, Captain Joe's Shoes, Knick, and the Major Bendies, and Big Rubber Guys.
And Brian Myers, right?
And Brian Myers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're loaded up. We're loaded up, baby. And there might be more coming, too. I'm not even sure. Because Brian said, I want to bring some friends. I'm like, oh, all right, whatever. But anyways, you get your tickets right now on Eventbrite, or you get them at Time Capsule Toys. The super early bird are about to sell out. There might be like 2 left, maybe. But then the normal early birds are selling very quickly. So make sure to get those while you still can. Today we are here with Ronn Gehring from Your Toy Connection, based in good old Ravenna, or as other people call it, Ravenna.
We're in Ravenna, Ohio, so come on out.
So I've known Ron for many years. I knew Ron before he actually got Your Toy Connection. We're going to start not back to when we were actually kids. We're going to go back to when you actually got Your Toy Connection.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to give some people some insight of how you became a shop owner.
Oh, great. Strap in, kids. It's going to get fun. No, so basically, to give you a 10,000-foot overview of myself, I've collected toys since 2002, so I mainly collect vintage, and it's been my passion throughout my adult life. And I'm an attorney by trade. I practiced law on and off for multiple years and never could really find a passion for it. It was more of just a paycheck, and I was miserable. And the opportunity came up in 2018 for me to purchase Your Toy Connection from the old seller. He was going through some family issues, and he approached me and said, hey, Ron, I know you're miserable doing what you're doing. You know, would you be interested in buying Your Toy Connection? If not, I'm just going to liquidate the assets and close up and move. And I said, oh, man. I mean, yes, I'm definitely interested in buying it, but my wife's never going to let me do this. I mean, I had run other businesses, and I never thought that she would be on board with me doing another business again. So I talked to her that evening, and I mean, she was like, yeah, you need to do it. And I couldn't believe it. I almost fell over. And I said, oh, are you serious? Like, you really would support me, you know, quitting what I was doing? I had a nice, stable income job, and to walk away from that again, to start my own business again. And she said, yeah, let's do it. She's like, toy collecting has been your passion. You know, let's see if we can make a run at it. So fast forward a few weeks, and I was a proud owner of Your Toy Connection. So I took over ownership on April 24th, 2018, and I did the grand reopening about 3 weeks later. So the beginning of May 2018, I had the grand reopening of the store. We had a huge sale, and we had just tons of people come out to support the shop, and it was really great. So that's sort of the short version of how I became the owner of Your Toy Connection.
The Cliff Notes version.
Yes. Who's Cliff?
Good question. I don't know. When I was driving out today, I had to go to Cleveland earlier, and then I'm on my way back. I'm noticing all of a sudden, I'm like, it's September. It's like 80-something degrees outside for whatever reason. The leaves are changing. Mm-hmm. Leaves are falling. Mm-hmm. So it brought me like the nostalgia hit of being a kid running through leaves and the crinkling of them.
Oh, sure.
So I've never got to ask anyone this, I don't think, on the show. What is the one childhood costume that you wore that stuck out to you more than anything?
Oh, without doubt, I have it. So it's one of the old Ben Cooper G.I. Joe costumes. So it's the plastic like apron that you'd tie on that had, you know, the picture. It was the infantry soldier. So if you can imagine, it was just like a green army uniform, just in a plastic robe that you wrapped around, and then the plastic mask that you drape over your face. And that was like my most favorite childhood Halloween costume
You
was
couldn't talk
GI Joe.
because your tongue would get cut
Yeah.
by this little slit you're supposed to talk through.
100%. You couldn't breathe, and I can't remember. Because Halloween, it's either 90 degrees and scorching or it's 30 degrees and freezing. So I can't remember that Halloween what the weather was, but I mean, you could never breathe out of those things either. It was terrible.
Yeah, those nose holes are very, very tiny.
But I was so happy to be G.I. Joe for Halloween.
Now, do you have a costume to where you're like, this is terrible? Why would you make me wear this?
Not that I recall, no.
Or a costume where you're like, oh, this could look so sweet, and you're like, what was I thinking?
No. The only costume I ever remember wearing was the G.I. Joe one.
Oh, okay.
So I don't, yeah.
Because
No.
I remember as a kid, my parents weren't big on buying me costumes.
Right.
It was more of a, hey, you have to make it sort of thing.
Yeah.
The one year I was a mummy,
Okay.
they literally wrapped me in gauze.
Yeah.
And when they were done, I was like, I have to pee real bad. My dad goes, you can wait till you're done trick-or-treating.
3 hours.
Hold it for 2 hours. So I had to run around. I was running around the neighborhood trying not to pee my pants
my
while
gosh.
being a mummy.
So I do remember now, there was a costume that my parents made. So my name's Ron, obviously. It's not Ronald, but the one, I was probably 5 or 6, they made me go as Ron McDonald. And so I had like the yellow jumpsuit with the little pot, and I think my grandma made it. So, but there was a little pouch with a little, I don't know if you all have ever seen the old Ron McDonald plush toy, but they basically use that as a mold. So
Yeah,
I
'cause
had,
he had like giant hips.
yeah. So I had, and then there was a lapel pocket, and like there was a little grimace inside it. And then I painted my face white, and I had the red button nose. And there's got to be pictures of somewhere. I'll try and find one. But
The pictures need to resurface badly.
with the red mop head. I mean, I could swear my grandma made it, but that was one where I wasn't. I'd much rather been G.I. Joe that year than Ronald McDonald.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Back to like the whole Halloween thing and leaves changes and stuff like that. Was there a certain, like growing up, like was there a certain thing you felt you had to watch, like every Halloween season?
Oh, 100%.
Like was there certain movies you had to watch or certain
Yeah.
specials or?
Absolutely. Still to this day, and I make my kids do it, and my kids hate it. But it's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. I watch it every Halloween. My kids hate it. Like, I have a 12-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 2-year-old. And the 12-year-old and the 9-year-old do not care about the Peanuts at all. Like, it just doesn't resonate with the young people. But I still, every Halloween, I make them watch the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. But not so much anything else. Like, for Christmas, I have a whole laundry list of movies and shows that I have to watch. But pretty much for Halloween, it's just that.
Yeah, for me, I really like watching the Garfield Halloween special.
Oh, that's a good one.
That one I just remember watching as a kid growing up. And then, like, horror movies back when I was a kid, they just really, really terrified me.
Yeah.
I would try to watch them, but I just couldn't.
Really?
Like, yeah. But then when I got older, I was, like, obsessed with them. So, but, yeah, like, growing up, I always wanted, like, I was Jason one year for Halloween.
Nice.
But, like, I wasn't really watching any Friday the 13th movies because horror movies scared the living crap out of me.
For sure.
Like, especially, like, growing up, my early years, we lived, like, our house was literally, like, in the woods.
Okay.
So, like, we'd look out these giant windows, and you saw nothing but trees.
Wow.
So I was just like, yeah, no, I'm good. No horror movies for me, because they're probably living out there in the woods
out in
trying
the
to kill
woods.
me.
Yeah. I can imagine.
But yeah, like like I said, I was driving and I was like, the leaves are falling. I'm like, oh god, fall's almost here. It's almost spooky season.
Oh, yeah.
So like, once again, keeping on the topic of Halloween and spooky season, from your childhood,
Okay.
do you have a favorite toy line that involved monsters? I know it's a tough one.
Probably indirectly. I don't think they were monsters per se. Like, they weren't. But Masters of the Universe, He-Man, most of the bad guys were monsters of some type. And that was one of my favorite toys as a child. So I never tied it to, like, Halloween. But, I mean, I definitely, God, I loved the villains in the
Who was your
old-
favorite Masters of the Universe villain?
Oh, Beastman, Merman. But just think about some of those villains. I mean, Grizzlor, Leech, Mantena. I mean,
They're monsters.
they are literally monsters. Hordak was like the Monster King. So I definitely think He-Man had a monster, like a hero
I never really
versus
thought about it
monsters
like that.
element.
I was thinking about other, like when I wrote down that question, I was thinking of like other like monster themed toy lines, but some of them I didn't even know they existed when I was a kid until years later. Like
right.
Monster Force,
Never knew it existed as a kid.
which those are cool. That creature one's like the hands down the best figure in the line. But I mean, Inhumanoids.
I never were into them.
I never knew they existed until I
Yeah.
got older because they obviously there weren't too many of them. Like Gremlin stuff. Like Gremlins I liked as a kid, but
Sure. I don't never really
Gremlins
had a
is more
Gremlins
of a-
toy.
Gremlins is a Christmas movie, so
I consider it a Christmas movie.
yeah, it happens on Christmas. And Gizmo's gift.
Right. But even like My Pet Monster, I never had any of that as a kid.
I wanted one and I never got it.
Yeah, so it was, He-Man was my monsters.
No, I mean, I never thought about it like that, but you're right. All the bad guys were monsters, pretty much. The only bad guys that weren't monsters, pretty much, were Blade.
And he was a movie bad guy.
Yeah, he was a movie bad guy. He was just a dude with an eye patch.
Yeah, and some cool swords.
Going back once again to your childhood,
Yeah.
name your top 3 favorite toy lines.
Well, so without doubt, number 1 would be G.I. Joe. 2 would be Star Wars. 3 would be Transformers.
Who's your favorite Joe?
Ooh. Okay. No. This probably, I think most people might agree, but Chuckles.
Chuckles.
Yeah, man, because he had a sweet Hawaiian shirt on. I mean, he was undercover. And,
Yeah, because being undercover and a bright Hawaiian shirt doesn't make you stand out.
So, in a close second favorite vintage Joe would be Shockwave. Because I don't know why, you had an urban commando with blue camouflage, but
And a ski mask.
and a ski mask. But that was the coolest because he came with the Uzi and the pistol, and he had a knife. I'm like, oh my god,
He
and
had his
he's
phone.
blue, and it was so awesome.
He had a phone before cell phones were cool.
That is cool.
Favorite Star Wars characters? Who cares? It's Star Wars.
Yeah,
It's like,
they're all cool. I mean,
unless it's some goofy alien, you're probably gonna say Darth Vader or Luke Skywalker.
wow. I mean, probably. I mean, let's just go with the OG Boba Fett.
No, there you go.
That's the coolest vintage Star Wars character in my mind.
Your favorite Transformer?
And this is again, people out there in Radio Land may agree or disagree, but for toys, it'd have to be Jetfire. I mean, the original G1 Jetfire was just amazing, and it had nothing to do with the cartoon, but it was just a Macross, from Robotech. Hasbro Takara was like, let's just do this as Jetfire.
Let's just steal it.
And it's awesome. I mean, that was like the coolest toy.
He's so hard to transform.
Oh, yeah. And so, I mean, I probably went through 2 or 3 of those as a kid.
Just break it.
Yeah, because the antennas would break and the limbs would break. It was very brittle if you play with it, but it was awesome.
Growing up, my favorite was Grimlock. I don't know why. Probably because I was like obsessed with dinosaurs
Yeah.
and shit. But Grimlock was up there for me. I always wanted one, never got one. Now I tell myself the only time I'll actually buy one is if I can find a sealed G1 Grimlock, I will buy it.
Wow. Okay.
I'll never find one, and I'm okay with that.
I mean,
I
well,
have
hey.
to find it in person.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to be graded either because
Okay. So you have to be somewhere and find it in person,
yes.
and then you'll buy it.
Yeah.
Okay. I respect that.
And then as I got older, Starscream.
Okay. Yeah. He's
I just like him because he just constantly tries to
overthrow,
overthrow Megatron and like throw him under the bus. and
undermine him. Yeah. I mean,
I don't know. I just like him.
I love his voice. I mean,
Well, yeah, it was it. Cobra Commander
Yeah.
and Decompose from Inhumanoids
Right.
and the bad guy from Visionaries, and he didn't change his voice. He was the
same
same voice.
voice
for everything he did.
He was
He was also a voice on Dino Riders.
Oh, was he?
Yeah,
That's
like
fun.
Rasp or whatever his name was.
Same voice.
So we talked about your favorite toy lines as a kid, and honestly, like your favorite toy lines are still around.
They definitely are.
So, and I don't even know why I'm asking this.
Oh, ask it.
Because I already know the answer.
Okay.
If I'm wrong, I will be shocked.
Okay.
If you could resurrect one toy line from your childhood, what would it be?
Exo Squad.
I was right.
100%. So I'm not going to reveal my age, but let's just say I was in high school in the 90s, and it was pretty not cool to collect toys. So I had basically, by the time I'd be, freshman, sophomore in high school, I had stopped buying most toys. I may have dabbled into G.I. Joe into the 90s, but when Exo Squad came out in like 1994, I was like, holy cow. So it's my dirty little secret is I love Exo Squad. It would be number 4 on my list of my favorite toy lines. But it came out in the mid-90s, and it came out with a cartoon. And the cartoon, if you've never watched the cartoon, the Exo Squad cartoon's amazing. And the toys were very well made for 90s toys. They were mech suits with like 2-inch figures that were highly articulated that would go in there. They had lots of firing missiles and accessories. I mean, it was a great toy line. And I'd love to see that come back. I'd love to see someone do it again because that's a modern toy I'd actually buy.
What at that point in time, do you think like Exo Squad? How do I want to say it? Do you think it hit at the right time, or do you think people just weren't ready for that sort of thing?
I think it was too late because if you look back in the mid-90s, all the toy manufacturers were going away from articulated joints. I mean, look at Jurassic Park and the 90s Toy Biz X-Men. I mean, they're 5 or 6 points of articulation. They have a couple weapons. And in the meantime, there is no Star Wars. And when Star Wars comes back, they're 5 points of articulation. They're garbage figures that everyone went crazy for, but they're garbage. And then there's these awesome, highly articulated 2-inch, sweet characters, sweet aliens, mech suits, planes where people can go inside them. And I mean, if they would have been an 80s toy, if that would have come out like 86, 87, I think that would have been a huge mega hit. And I just think that the kids that were growing up in the 90s are like, what the hell is all this stuff? Like, this isn't what we want. We just want a Jurassic Park dinosaur or a turtle that doesn't do anything. We don't want this sweet mech suit.
We don't want this sweet mech suit that shoots missiles and everything else.
And bombs and and
we don't want any articulation. What are you doing?
No. 5 points is all we need. Oh. No. Those little figures had like 15 points of articulation. They're awesome.
To me, one thing that sticks out with Exo Squad the most is the boxes are bright yellow and bright red.
Yeah.
Like you can see them from across the room.
100%.
But then there's other toy lines that like their boxes don't pop like Exo Squad. But Exo Squad does have its like own little cult following.
I would agree.
But like there's also tons of people who don't know about Exo Squad go,
right.
Oh, what's this? Oh, I didn't know this existed.
And I was like a junior in high school running around like crazy buying them all.
Wee!
Playing with
Squad. Wee!
Yeah.
Growing up, we all had those shows that we loved. They never had toy lines.
Oh, yeah.
Previous episode, I talked about how I wanted to marry children toy line.
That'd been cool.
So, what TV shows and stuff like did you watch as a kid that you feel like should have had a toy line?
Okay, so I have an answer for you, but they may have been some, but they weren't in my sphere. But Saved by the Bell.
They had dolls.
I was thinking there was dolls, but they weren't marketed to me, and I never saw them.
Yeah.
But
because more than likely they were probably in the girls' aisle.
Right, and I don't think I ever went down the girls' aisle. But I'm trying to think of other... I mean, you had said right there, like, Gremlins. They didn't make... I mean, I know that there was one LJN, I think, made of Gizmo.
Yeah, but LJN, they made a Gizmo, a smaller Gizmo, like a PVC Gizmo.
Yeah.
And a larger Gizmo.
Right.
Then a stretch stripe. There was a larger stripe.
Yeah.
And then...
There wasn't, like, widespread toys for it.
No.
I mean, the Goonies, that would have been great to have Goonies toys.
I mean, if you think of Goonies toys, I mean, You could have had the whole crew:
Oh yeah.
Sloth,
Yeah.
Mama Fratelli,
Yeah.
her boys,
Yeah.
the pirate ship.
Yeah. Playset. Pirate ship playset. Could have made a One-Eyed Willie. Would have been fun.
I mean, what else? What else from that movie am I missing?
The brother, Josh Brolin.
Oh yeah,
Could have done him with his weight bands and things. I mean, there's so
Josh
many.
Brolin with weight band action.
Yeah, there's so. I mean, there's so many. Iconic '80s movies that didn't really have toys.
Yeah, could you think of a TV series that you watched that you wish would have had toys? Like A-Team had toys.
A-Team did.
Magnum PI even had. Well, they had
some,
a toy, right? They
right.
had Magnum himself, and then his
In the-
Corvette.
Right. Let's see.
Like, who's he supposed to fight? They never released a bad guy.
No bad guys. I'm trying to think of other '80s like shows that I really loved.
Airwolf only had the helicopter.
They did make a helicopter. I don't know.
Miami Vice.
That would have been a good one.
You could have a boat, a car.
And you could have had just tons of just random nameless bad guys.
Bad guy number 1.
Right.
Bad guy number 2.
Yeah.
Bad guy with a scar on his face.
I know. I mean, they did do Rambo stuff. Yeah. They even did the Commando action figure. But
I just found out about a year ago there was actually bad guys to the Commando line.
Yeah.
I didn't know existed because you never see them.
Never see them.
I'm trying to think what other toys like Saved by the Bell. I think would have did good action figure wise if you would have had you would have had the Max play set. You could have had the School.
Yeah.
Zack Attack.
Right. The band, the Zack Attack.
I mean,
There was tons.
there's a lot you could have done with that.
I don't know if that.
But here's the crazy thing. I'll bring this up right
Yeah.
now. They did not do a toy line because this just clicked in my head. They did not do a toy line, action figure wise, for Saved by the Bell. Which makes, when I bring up this why I'm going to mention this, why it makes no sense to me,
Okay.
is there was a show, much like Saved by the Bell. Mind you, I tried to rewatch it like about a month or so ago.
Okay.
I couldn't get 10 minutes into it. It was
Okay.
awful. Awful. Like, it was so bad. But it had a toy line. It was geared towards girls,
Okay.
but they were probably about this tall.
Okay.
But they were like action figures. They had a motorcycle. They had a car. They had a stage play set.
Alvin and the Chipmunks?
Swan's Crossing.
There was toys for Swan's Crossing?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. Toys for Swan's Crossing.
Why?
But yet, you didn't give Saved by the Bell their own action figures. You just gave them dolls.
Yeah.
What else came out at that point in time? Live action TV series wise.
You had all the that might have been a smidge before Power Rangers and that slew of stuff.
Yeah, like there was, oh my God. There was not a spinoff of Saved by the Bell, but there was another show that was like Saved by the Bell. I cannot remember. I'm sure someone's going to comment on YouTube and tell me what it was.
Well, yeah, please comment. Let us know.
Let me know because I cannot remember for the life of me.
Well, there was multiple spin-offs of Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, but like obviously those don't grant anything, not
No.
even dolls, because they were terrible, like the college years and
Right.
whatever else. But
The college years.
yeah, but like the fact that there was Toys for Swan's Crossing, but you only put out dolls for Saved by the Bell,
Right.
kind of.
I would have bought Saved by the Bell action figures because I love that show.
I mean, who wouldn't?
Yeah.
Here's your dirty little secret is that you collect
Exo Squad?
Exo Squad. I'll say my dirty little secret, which only had dolls also, but should have had action figures.
Okay.
90210.
Yeah.
They had dolls.
Ah, for sure.
I collect the dolls. I love 90210.
Yeah, me too.
I think I'm missing like one or two dolls. I don't remember which ones I'm missing. But I have the lunchbox,
Nice.
stuff like that. But-
I watched it.
oh, I still watch it.
Yeah.
There's a channel on like Tubi or something that plays,
it.
But then at a certain time it goes to Melrose Place and
You didn't like Melrose?
no.
Oh, I love Melrose.
There was something back in the day and like late 80s, early 90s, anyone named Kelly was on my like crush list.
Okay.
You had Kelly from 90210. You had Kelly Kapowski from Saved by the Bell.
Yeah.
You had Kelly Bundy.
Yeah.
It's like if you had a hot girl on a show,
His name was Kelly.
her name was Kelly.
Well, I never thought about that, but it's very true.
Yeah. But yeah, I think they should have did 90210 action figures.
I agree.
Because
I probably would have bought them.
yeah, I mean, they did have the big. That's one thing I don't have is the car for the dolls.
Oh, they made a car?
I never see it.
Was it like a Corvette? What was it?
It's always a Corvette.
It was just a
I think
Barbie
they just-
Corvette?
probably they just recycle that stuff.
Okay.
It's like, and everyone has to have a Corvette. Everyone.
Why not?
Yeah, exactly. Why not? There's another little thing I thought about. I always try to pull out random stuff, like nostalgia things, and like one of those, like, do you remember where you were at, or
Okay.
stuff like that. I don't know why this one popped in my head. And then it made me, I started going down the rabbit hole
Okay.
in my own mind. Growing up, we all had our favorite snacks.
Okay.
A lot of our favorite snacks are non-existent now.
No.
Could you give me some of your favorite snacks as you were a kid? Like the one for me popped in my head like instantly, and I'm like, oh my god, I wish I could eat those right now.
What was yours?
Magic Middles from Keebler.
Oh. That
I don't
was
know.
The little cookies that had like the chocolate in the middle?
Yes, they were like chocolate chip cookies, but it was like some sort of, I don't know, it wasn't frosting.
Yeah.
It was like melted down chocolate chips in the middle. They're called Magic Middles. Those things were so good.
I'm trying to think. Like, I feel like Fruit Stripe Gum is one of them.
They just
But-
stopped making it. They just went officially out of business
Did
like
they?
a year ago. And I didn't know it was still around.
I was going to say, I haven't seen it in years. I don't know. You think for, what I look like, I'd remember the snacks I ate, but
Another one, I only remember this one because I conned my parents into buying them for me,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't eat them.
uh-huh.
Was Shark Bites.
Oh my God. I love Shark Bites.
And I only wanted them because they came with a shark toy.
Yeah.
I hate
You hate gummies? Like
I
fruit
hate
gummies?
snack gummies so much that it's like the texture thing, and
The Shark Bites were different, though, because weren't they were a little bit different than like a normal fruit snack.
oh yeah, especially because they had the great white one.
Yeah.
And like
It was
I'm
white
like,
and like,
and I'm like, I don't trust that.
right.
Like, what is it? Glue? Because
I
that's
don't
what I
know.
always thought it
did
was.
look like glue that was jellified.
Yeah, and I'm just like, no, I'm just gonna call my parents into buying these just so I can have the shark, and then I'll act like I'm eating them as I'm just throwing the packages
Just so
away.
you can get a toy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I do remember one that I loved that I would eat all the time. They were Kudos bars.
Dude.
I had Kudos bars.
Kudos bars are so good. The
Yeah.
one day I actually Googled them
Yeah.
to see if they're still in business.
They can't.
Unfortunately, they're not.
No.
Kudos bars were so good.
Yeah, no, they were amazing.
They were like granola bars, but not
No.
granola
No.
bars. But they were like tiny. They're like that.
Right, they
big.
were small, but as you were a kid, they was. Right now, I need like 5 of them.
God, those were so good.
They were good.
Like the chocolate chip ones,
Yeah,
and then I'll say the chocolate chip ones, and then the peanut butter ones.
there was the peanut butter ones, is what I remember. They were
There was like
phenomenal.
4 flavors, I think. God, those things were so good.
There's another one I'm going to throw at you. It's not going to pull at your nostalgic heartstrings, but they were just Carnation breakfast bars. And
I remember Carnation
awesome.
Instant Breakfast,
Yeah.
where all it was powder that you put into like water.
this was like a breakfast bar made of that.
I don't even remember
It was so
those.
good. They were little chocolate peanut butter. So I mean, Kudos were my go-to, but then the Carnation breakfast bars were so good.
I never even knew those existed.
Yeah.
Yeah, because while I was doing this whole thing, I was like, what did I eat a lot when I was a kid? I mean, a lot of the stuff I ate as a kid, like fast food wise and stuff like that, is still around.
Yeah,
It just tastes completely different
yeah,
than when I was a kid. And one of those things being like McDonald's French fries.
they're way different.
Because did you know that they changed how they cooked them?
It doesn't surprise. I didn't know that.
Well, they used to cook them in animal fat.
Okay,
And a lot of people became vegetarian and they couldn't eat the French fries because they were being cooked. They were being deep fried in animal fat.
so they changed what they fry them in.
Yeah, now they fry them in vegetable oil.
Yeah,
So now the taste is completely different. Not even the same.
no, yeah, a lot of that stuff's changed.
And then The other thing I was thinking about was like getting my booklet pens and getting the Pizza Hut personal pan pieces. Yeah, those don't taste the same at all. Not even close.
They still make the personal pans though.
No, they still make them. Don't even taste close to the same.
That was such an exciting time when you got you have to read a certain amount of books and you get the free pizza.
Yeah, you fill up the stars in your pen, and you get the thing. You go to Pizza Hut. That was the only time we ever actually got Pizza Hut in my house. Is when I filled up a booklet pen.
Well, I grew up in Hubbard, and we didn't have a Pizza Hut there, so we had to go to Sharon to go to Pizza Hut. So we didn't get it a lot either, and it was always so good because it was the pan pizza.
Yeah, they changed it. It is not the same.
Yeah.
Literally, even the normal pan pizza isn't. It's flat out gross.
I never eat Pizza Hut anymore.
There's too many other good pizza places around to even. Then it's so expensive.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I'm like, I could go somewhere way better
To spend that kind of money
on garbage pizza.
Do you remember their cups at Pizza Hut? Like the red, just the weird red cups.
The one in Warren is a throwback Pizza Hut.
Is it really?
They have the glass lights.
Oh my gosh!
Everything.
Like the
red
Tiffany,
cups,
the Tiffany lamp.
the Tiffany lamp.
Wow.
All that stuff.
In Warren?
Yep.
That'd be fun to go check out.
Yeah, it's they call it the throwback Pizza Hut.
Okay.
But so your toy connection.
Yes.
It's in Ravenna, Ohio.
Ravenna. Not Ravenna.
Not Ravenna. Ravenna.
Yes.
Lots of people always like to ask. People love horror stories.
Yes.
Because they're funny.
They are.
So, you got a couple bad customer stories to share? I have one from like yesterday.
You have a bad customer story
Of
from
course.
yesterday? You share yours and I'll think.
Yesterday, I made the comment of on my Facebook of, is it a full moon? Because these
Yeah.
people that are coming in today are like out of their minds.
Right.
Everyone's like, the full moon's Tuesday.
Right.
And I'm like, well, they're out early. And it's crazy that I can tell when a full moon's coming because the craziness I deal with.
Mm-hmm.
I showed up at the shop. We opened at noon. I showed up at 11:30 because I had to get some packing done because I wouldn't be able to pack the stuff today.
Okay.
So I showed up early. There's already someone waiting in the parking lot.
Okay. That's always fun.
They roll down the window. You opening up early for me? No. Why? Mind you, I have zero clue who this person is. I go, I have a lot of stuff to do before I even open the doors.
Right.
Because I had to unload my van, all this other stuff. They sit there for about 15 more minutes. They leave. They come back. He comes walking in with 2 Lego sets.
Okay.
Puts them down and goes, I'm trying to sell these.
Okay.
They're old.
Okay.
I'm like, okay. They're only a couple years old.
Oh.
Not
Vintage.
Yeah. They were like, I don't know, like 2019 maybe.
Okay. That's old.
And they weren't very big sets. And I was just like, I'll give you this much money for them. He's like, that's too low.
Yeah.
You're going to get this much money out of this one alone. I said, I'm getting less than that for both of them combined.
Right.
He's like, no, you can't be. You can't be at all. He starts trying to argue with me. He goes, I looked them up before I came here.
Right.
I'm like, did you look up solds?
Right.
No. But I just can't do that. Can you give me more money in trade? I'm like, yeah, I'll give you $10 more in trade. He walks around the store being so loud and just goes, no, can't do it. Can't do it. I just can't. The attachment to him, I can't let him go for that.
Been in my family for generations.
And leaves. I'm like, mind you, one of the first things he says is, when he puts them down on the counter, is, I'm trying to get rid of these because I don't build small sets. And I didn't know I had them.
Okay.
I only deal with large sets.
So he's super attached to him.
But he's super attached to them
Yeah.
because he thought they were worth mucho dinero. Then the other day, I had a guy come in, walking around. I heard something. It was pretty much like this. Like,
Okay.
I'm like, what the hell was that? I'm like, did I knock something over? I'm looking. There ain't nothing. I'm like, that guy's just standing right there. He's not touching anything because his hands are behind his back. And he's just looking.
Right.
I hear it again. I'm like, what is that sound? I hear it again.
What was it?
He was farting.
That's awesome.
And they were like gunshots. And I kept thinking he was dropping books or something. I go, but he's not touching nothing. Nothing around me falling. What's that sound? He blew about 6 of these things and then just left.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And I was like, how is this my life?
It is
like,
your life.
I'm looking around like I'm on an episode like Impractical Jokers or something. Like I didn't say anything to the guy.
Right.
He's just hands behind his back. Pow!
That's
Pow!
really funny.
I'm just like, what the?
Yeah.
I'm like, and that was like 2 of my days this week,
That's
this past
awesome.
week.
Well,
I'm just like, oh my God, this is my life.
that is the life of a store owner. So, I mean, I have a million horror stories where you're talking about where people come in and they overvalue the stuff that they're trying to sell you.
It's always Beanie Babies.
Oh God. I mean, the one guy came in with Beanie Babies and he's like, I got a Beanie Baby that's worth $20,000. And I was like, oh, really? And he's like, you interested? And I was like, no. He's like, you ain't even interested in seeing it? I was like, no. He's like, well, your job is to make money. He's like, wow, you can make a lot of money on this. And I was like, I'm not interested in your Beanie Baby, sir. I was like, you should sell it on eBay and you should make all the money. I said, I don't need the money. I said, not for the Beanie Baby money. But just, I mean, especially with Beanie Babies, people think they're worth so much money and they're worth nothing. But in general, like, you know, people come in and, you know, a lot of people don't understand that we need to make money. So there has to be a margin on the toy for us to make money. So if it's worth $10, we're going to offer you $5 so we can make $5 profit on it. That's just the way it is because we have overhead to pay. We have employees. I mean, that's just the realities of selling to a store. So, I mean, people come in all the time and they don't like my offer. They get mad. They want to argue with me. So, I mean, I have a million of those horror stories. But I have a great story that I've never shared with you.
Oh boy.
So this was last summer. And, you know, we're in a downtown setting. Ravenna's the county seat of Portage County. So we get some of the crazies that come into our store. And, you know, Ravenna's a bigger town. I mean, it's not as big as Youngstown, but it's bigger than some towns. It's, you know, it's a good-sized town. We have a good-sized downtown. So this one guy comes in the one day, and he has a walking cane, but he's walking pretty well. He's ambulating fine. And just walking around looking at the shop, checking everything out, asking me all kinds of questions. And then he just falls straight over into my Funko Pop display.
My God.
So, and Funko Pops are nauseating anyway. And this was like a 400-pound, 6'3" man. I have this shelf set up. And the reason I thought about this is because I was looking at it yesterday. So he wipes out the shelf. He wipes out the container. Like 100 Funko Pops just fall. I mean, it's just like a Funko Pop explosion. There's just Funko Pops flying everywhere.
Oh my God.
And all my shelves break because I have glass shelves. So all the shelves break. And this was like last year. And I was like, holy cow. Like, did this just happen? Like, he's literally just standing there and just falls backwards. I'm like, whoa. So help him up. I mean, tons of the Funko Pops. Funko Pop collectors are very meticulous about their boxes of the
Yes.
Funkos. And,
It's quite obnoxious.
he ruined a bunch of the boxes because he was a large man. And the reason I was just thinking about this is because yesterday I had got a Funko Pop collection in, and the shelves still aren't right. So the shelves are still uneven from when he fell, because then I had to get different shelves, and so everything's uneven. And I was still thinking to myself, like, the guy was fine, so his pride was hurt, but that was it. And so I was like really pissed off yesterday. I'm like, mother effer, like this, my shelves are still all broken.
Now here's the real question:
Yeah.
Did he buy any of the ones he fell?
Didn't buy anything. They just left. And like I said, I think his pride was hurt because but I don't, how he fell is beyond me. And I mean, like I said, it's like the farter in your store. Like I'm sitting there and I'm just, all of a sudden there's Funkos flying everywhere. I'm like, what is going on? Is there an earthquake? And nope.
If you damage something in a store, like, I honestly think you should offer to buy it.
You should.
Like, I want to say it was the one Toy Hio. 2 Toy Hios ago, maybe. Someone came into our shop. Tons was working. Tons of messages me and goes, "This dude just broke a stretch screamer."
Oh, no.
I'm like, what? He goes, he pulled it out of the glass case, started yanking on it. The arm came off, and he goes, "I think I broke this." I think I broke this. As goo and ooze is going all over the carpet and the glass case.
Oh.
As Tunza grabs paper towels and goes to clean it, dude walks out the door.
Yeah, it's just not right. You know.
So if that was you, come pay for the damn thing.
Yeah, if you're watching this right now, you know, Mr. falling into my Funko Pop shelf, you owe me a couple $100 because you broke some glass shelves, damaged a bunch of Funko Pops.
He's like, yeah, but what about my skin and pride?
Like a big trench coat on. His skin was fine.
I don't know why is he undercover? Maybe it was a bunch of kids stacked up on top of each other wearing a trench coat.
Oh, it could have been. There was like 3 kids. Yeah.
Maybe it was like 2 dogs and a cat, like the old cartoons.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, kids are trying to get into it. Maybe they thought I was a different kind of toy store, and the kids were trying to get in to see that kind of toys.
So stupid, so funny. So we got out of the way of the bad customer toy store stories.
Oh, I got bad customers all the time. But we'll save that.
We'll save those for another time.
We'll
Because I could probably write a book from past experiences.
Yeah.
But do you have any bad toy show stories? You were at the show that I talked about before.
I was.
With the stinky booth, which that shows this weekend.
So it is this weekend.
So prepare yourself for if you're planning on going there.
So for anyone out there that thinks that Rick's making it up, he is not. So they had like live, like dead animal dog chew toys and stuff. I never seen anything like it, but thank God my booth wasn't set up right next to theirs. But I mean, the whole booth reeked of foulness and rotting flesh.
That's what it smelled like. It was so bad.
See, I never had dogs, so I don't know what dogs like to eat, but I can't imagine
I've never bought my dog those
rotting flesh toys.
No, never. You got like squeaky toys. You got treats.
Yeah,
that's about it.
Why a toy show promoter would let why a show promoter would let someone sell stinky dog treats? I don't know. So I have some good stories. There's one real good story I'll save for another guest to tell. But a couple horror stories that I can think of offhand that I think you'll like is I was doing one toy show, and it was at a fairgrounds, and setting up my toys. And this is a show where I go sometimes. It's not one of my shows I go all the time, so I don't have a set space. Like at Toy Hio, I have a set space. Like it's my space, and I have my spaces at other shows. But at this show, I might skip a show here or there. So who knows where I'm going to be. So we're down there, and I'm set up, and there's, it's a big concrete floor, and there's a crack running through it. And I get all my stuff down. I come back the next morning. We leave for the night after setup. Come back. My stuff is infested with ants. Ants everywhere.
God.
I ran over to the show promoter. I was like, hey, I got ants everywhere. Like, literally, I'm not talking about like 3 ants. I'm talking about like the ants came out of this crack, and I must have been right above the ant hole. I mean, I had ants everywhere. And he just starts coming over and starts stepping on them. I'm like, you're not going to get like some spray or something? He's just stomping on the ants. I was like, I could have done that.
I could have river danced on the ants myself.
He's like, they'll be fine. He's like, they'll go away. I'm like, okay. So anyway, that's one fun story. I always have bad luck at this show. So another time we went, there's no great hotels to stay around there. It's I don't know. So we never have like we're going to a toy show near Dayton in a couple weeks, and I always stay at this one hotel. It's the Red Roof Inn. It smells like feet, but I always stay there because aside from the
I started staying there too.
And now Rick stays there too. Aside from the feet smell of certain rooms, it's a fine hotel. It's reasonably priced. It's close to the venue. It's doable. I'm not staying at the Hilton or the Four Seasons or whatever. It's the Red Roof, but if you don't mind feet smell, it's fine. But I can't, at this one show, I can't find a good hotel to stay at. So I bounce around. And again, we're looking for value, not luxury. So the one show we stay at, I don't even remember what it's called. Like, it was called like the Columbus Grand Hotel. And we get up at like 5 a.m. for these shows because the early birds start at 8 and you got to be there around 7. So we get up at like 5 so we can shower and just get moving. And so I'm sitting there in the shower. I'm sitting there and I look around and there's cockroaches on the shower curtain. And I like yelled, I'm like, "Wow!" It's like, we got to get the F out of here. Like, cockroaches. And then so I run out and I was staying with another vendor. And he's like, "What are you talking about? Cockroaches." And then so we turn the light on in the room and there's cockroaches on the wall. I'm like, oh my God. Literally, we just got our shit and got out of there. I mean, and so I always have this show it's bad luck for me. And other people are like, "I did millions of dollars at this show." And I'm like, "I did nothing and there was cockroaches in my room." Or I did nothing and there's ants. My stuff's covered with ants. So I'm not doing it again. But then I'll do it again. And then I'll have another fun story to tell when you have me on again. Yeah.
I thought about this one show we both did.
Mm-hmm.
I don't say what bad shows are.
Yeah, I know.
This is a horror story. So this guy comes up to my booth. Mm-hmm. He wanted to trade like 2 or 3 rare Sega Genesis games for like something I had that was like $300 or something. And I'm looking at it. I'm giving him like that dog head turn when you talk to a dog. I open up the cases. I pull out the covers. All that stuff. I look back at him. I go, "So you want to trade these for this?" And he goes, "Yeah." I go, "Is there something you want to tell me?" "Yeah, the rare games." I'm like, "You want to tell me the fact that you printed the cover art out on a typing paper and cut it to fit the cases?"
Oh, so the cases were fake.
And he goes, "Well, yeah. I thought you knew that." I go, "Why would I know that when you just walked into my booth trying to trade them?"
Right.
I go, "This is why I have to look at things."
Right.
I said, "Let me do you a favor. I will throw the cases away so you don't try to scam somebody else."
Right.
And he goes, "Well, I wasn't trying to scam anybody." I go, "No, buddy, you knew what you were doing."
Right.
So to try to make good, he bought something for like $10.
Then you immediately messaged me and say, "Hey, if someone walks around trying to sell you Genesis games,
Uh-huh.
they got fake." You just told me they're fake. So,
Yeah.
man, I don't think I ever followed up with you because he never came to my booth.
Yeah, I know. I told some other people, and they're like, "Yeah, he came to my booth."
Oh, yeah.
After you messaged me, and they said,
Yeah.
"No, I'm gonna pass."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah." Like, people think they're gonna like pull one over on us and everything else. Like, there's so many people in this business that try to be scammers.
Oh, yeah.
Try to get one over on you. You have the customers that come in all the time that try to tell you how to do your job, and well, this is why you're going out of business. It's like, one, who said I was going out of business? Because I don't want to pay you like more than eBay for something that you literally just pulled out of a barn
Right.
that was covered in raccoon poop.
Right. Yeah. 100%. And most of us talk.
Yeah, like we are between the two of us. We are friends with so many other vendors, so many show promoters, and these people act like, one, they're never gonna get caught. 2, they act like that nothing's ever gonna happen to them. Like, there's one guy that I no longer deal with. He will tell me like, "Well, I could get this from this person for this." I said, "Okay, then go get it from them. Like, I don't care.
Right.
Give them the money. That's fine."
Right.
And then I'll message the person. I go, "Hey, so-and-so said you're selling this for this." They go, "I don't even have that." And they go, "And that person's not even allowed in my store anymore."
Oh, man.
And I go, I'll message them back. I go, "Oh, hey, man, do you end up picking that up?"
That's
"Yeah,
funny.
I'm on my way there now." I'll say something like, I'll be like, "Oh, man,
Yeah.
I'm sorry to tell you that, but I already bought it."
That's funny.
And they just get mad at me.
You should tell the story of when you hate bought something in Chicago last time.
All right, I'll tell that. That's a funny story.
It's not a horror story, but it's a funny story.
It's a funny story. So Ron has a customer.
I really like this customer.
He really likes this customer.
He's a good customer of mine.
He is a jackass.
Maybe towards other people, but he's great to me.
Flat out jackass. He started talking crap to me about God only knows what. And started telling people and posting online that he was going to beat my ass at Ohio. So scoured the internet for pictures of him because he's one of these guys who tries not to have pictures of him online. Scoured the internet, found his photo, printed it out, and said, like, not welcome, banned from show, whatever. And I posted it on the Toyhio page saying, he's not permitted, he is banned. If you see him on the premises, he needs to be walked off and told to leave. He freaked out to Ron. Because I can't go. He's going to have me arrested. Da-da-da-da-da. All because I'm like, he wanted to run his mouth. I don't deal well with people running their mouths about, like, saying you're going to beat me up, whatever. Like, forget. Don't say you're going to do it. Just do it. Mm-hmm. So Ron comes to Chicago with us this past spring. First time for Ron in Chicago.
Buying everything.
Chicago, that's what you do. You literally buy everything. Because if you have to think about it and go back, it's gone.
Yeah, right. You have to buy it when you see it.
So Ron goes, my customer, the guy I don't like, goes, Ron, if you find this Monster in My Pocket set, I need it so bad.
He had seen it on another podcast, and he sent me pictures, like screen grabs from it. He's like, if you see this set, this specific set, you got to buy it for me. You got to let me know.
He goes, you got to let me know. I need it so bad. Mm-hmm. It's so hard to find. Mm-hmm. And he kept telling Ron's like, so we're at hotel in Chicago. They do this thing called hotel room sales where a lot of people just set up in their hotel room and just sell stuff out of their hotel room. Walk into this one room.
The very first room we went into.
It was, oh my God. Their name's escaping me right now.
I never met
him. I could see his face.
Yeah.
He's a super nice guy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's going to kill me that I don't remember his name.
I don't either.
Off the top of my head. I could picture him. Jackson, that's his name.
Okay.
It's Jackson Tesco V. Ron goes, oh my God, it's that set so-and-so needs. I'm going to message him.
Start messaging him.
Ron starts messaging him.
Guy had 150 on it. And I did not hear back from my friend. So we just leave it.
We leave it.
We go walk around the rest of the hotel.
Walk around, do the next floor, go up the next floor to make sure the woman who runs the show has our names down and everything because she always messes it up, like, terribly. And walk back down. Ron still, I don't even know if he wrote back to you.
He did eventually.
And then
he's like, can you get it for any cheaper?
Yeah. And I said, screw that.
But you didn't know at first who I was dealing with.
No.
So, but finally I told you who it was. And Rick's like, nope, I'm buying it.
And I said, Jackson, I'm paying you full sticker price for this. He's like, why? I said, because Ron's customer wants it and he's a jackass. I go, so I'm saying, Jackson goes, I love you because you spite buy.
Spite buy.
And then I sold it instantly to one of our good customers at Toyhio.
Yeah.
It didn't last long at all.
It was a nice set.
It was a nice set. I kind of regret selling it.
Yeah. It was like one of those 20 packs. With
it was called Monster in My Pocket Haunted House Set.
That was it.
And it was the first time I ever saw one. Because the mountain sets go for like whatever. It's so hit or miss on the mountains. Mm-hmm. But the haunted house one, like, you never see it.
That was the first one I've ever seen.
That was the first one I ever saw, so I bought it.
Yeah. And then you sold it.
And I sold it, and I kind of regret it. Speaking of regretting and stuff you never see and stuff like that, do you currently have a grill?
Do I have a grill that I'm searching for?
Yeah. Well, we already know you got one grill at one Ohio. He got himself a Amazing Fantasy 15.
I did.
And then I got bombarded with messages asking, did he buy that at the show? What vendor had that?
I also got Amazing Spider-Man #1 at the same show.
Yes, from the
So-
same vendor.
Okay, so comic grails, there are several I would like. I would like the Hulk #1, his first appearance of Hulk. That's probably next on my grail list. And then, listen, I mean, Pie in the Sky. I mean, I'd love, some of the other, upper end, top of the mountain books, but attainable to me at this time in my life, probably Hulk #1. Toy wise, I mean, I've been collecting for so long. With all the lines, I currently collect what I've always collected. So G.I. Joe, Star Wars, Masters Universe, Transformers. Those are the 4 toy lines I collect, plus Exo Squad, but don't tell anybody. And so there are
soon to be Swan's Cross.
so there are still some Star Wars toys that I need, but I refuse to buy anything online. So
I'm
we were
the
talking
same
with
way.
Grimlock. Look, I can go on eBay tomorrow and I can buy whatever I want, but I love the hunt.
That's what's in me too, is the hunt.
I can honestly never go into my store again and I just love to hunt. I wish that I could find people to run my store 24/7, 365, so I can just hunt all day, every day, because that's what I like to do. So I am still hunting, and believe it or not, I've never found it, is a nice Red Bar R5 from Star Wars. So I don't know how far down the rabbit hole y'all go out there in internet land with Star Wars variants, but there's an R5. It's a little astromech droid that's red, and there's a variant of him that has a red bar on the one side instead of a white bar. And I still really want that for myself, and but I want to find it, and I want it to be in good shape. Like, I know where I can get one tomorrow for $150, but it's
Yeah,
crap.
I saw it.
Yeah.
That sticker's like so far gone on it.
And I want to find a good one. So other things, like there's definitely grails. Like, I'd love a double telescoping lightsaber Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I'd love a double telescoping lightsaber Darth Vader. I have the Luke, which the Luke is the easiest one to get because he came with the mail-away set. But Darth Vader and the Obi-Wan are they're way harder.
Mucho dinero.
So those would be 2 grails that I could, in my mind, toy-wise, I could find. You want to go to G.I. Joe? I have almost every domestic G.I. Joe figure or vehicle, except for there was Hasbro made mail-away G.I. Joes, and there was a G.I. Joe called Steel Brigader, and there was like 6 different mail-away versions of the Steel Brigader, and version like F is called the Gold Head, which is, people think that's the rarest one, but it's really not. I mean, I have a really beautiful Gold Head Steel Brigade, but I need the version A. The version A Steel Brigade with the correct backpack is super hard to find. So in all this time, 20 years, I've still never found one. I missed one at Toy Hile a few years ago, but sometimes you snooze, you lose.
Was that the one Scott got?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for a song and a dance.
Because the seller did not realize there was different variants of it.
Correct. And like I said, I don't own a Wonder Bread He-Man. I don't know if you folks are familiar with He-Man.
One.
I know you do. So I've missed out on 2 Wonder Bread He-Mans. I mean, the guy right in front of me dug out of a 50-cent bin, and but again,
You were there when I dug that
the
mail-away Chef Boyardee shredder out of that. You called me to come to that booth.
I did. It was the guy. So we were at the Great Ohio Toy Show down in Xenia, and the normal gentleman that sits up next to me couldn't make the show.
Who was a funny story. Yeah. Leans against the wall and farts the entire show.
He's the mad farter. It's the best. So I hope he's there this time, because he literally just sits against the wall and farts all day. But he wasn't there, and so they filled it in with a new vendor. And we were walking around after setup on Friday night, and I come back to my booth to check on it, and these guys were setting up. And I started digging through their stuff, and I called Rick immediately. I was like, "Get back here now!" Like, there's just bins and bins of loose vintage toys. It was all vintage. And Rick found the mail-away Chef Boyardee shredder.
The crazy part was that I told myself I wasn't going to buy anything, so I didn't bring money.
Right.
So I had hit up you.
You borrowed money from me.
I borrowed money from you and Josh because I did not. My whole goal was not to go to the ATM until the morning,
Right.
so I can have change. So I brought no money, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
But that guy, I mean,
He had some crazy stuff too.
And you should have seen the vendors. Like, I was the first guy in it, but he had so much stuff. He had like 30 bins of stuff. I couldn't get through it all. And then by the time, like, it just everyone descended upon him, and it was just a mad free for all.
And now it happens to him every show.
Right, and now, like, I just saw him at a show recently, and he didn't even have anything anymore. I mean, he has some very, like, off the wall, like, Mexican KO, Thundercat stuff.
Oh yeah, we had got that Bengali.
Oh yeah,
blow mold head.
Oh yeah, did you sell that?
Yes, sold it at Last Toy.
Well, hopefully he's got more.
I hope so. I was shocked it sold. One, I was shocked it sold. Two, I was shocked it sold so fast.
Yeah.
Like the stuff that sells at Toy Hao for me that sells fast, I'm always shocked by how fast
That was
it sells.
so weird, though. I mean, I think there was a Lino head too, but I don't think you bought that.
No, I didn't. I bought Bengali because Bengali is so hard to get.
Yeah, but they had such cool like Mexican
always
KO
do.
stuff,
They always do.
and it's neat. I hope they bring some good stuff because we saw him at a show recently, and he didn't have much.
Yeah, I hope he restocks.
Yeah.
My final question for you: what is the worst toy line you can think of that you had as a kid?
I don't even need to think about it. It's GoBots. Piece of shit. Worst toy line ever. Let me ask you a question. Okay, you got a Transformer in one hand. That's awesome. And you got a piece of shit GoBot next to it that doesn't have a gun or nothing. Would they just all have laser beams that fire out of their arms? The dumbest TV show ever. Hate them. I won't buy GoBots. Don't bring them into my store. I won't buy them. You look in my showcase. I have one GoBot in my Transformer showcase, and only because it's like the coolest GoBot ever. And I don't remember the name offhand, but it's the Combiner Monster. I think it's Monstrous.
Yeah, monstrous.
It's like 6 little monster GoBots combined into like a big giant monster. That's like the coolest GoBot they ever made. And that's because they're monsters and stuff. But I hate GoBots. Ugh.
There's so many but the thing is, GoBots, they also had really bad names.
Oh God. Psykill's awesome, but
Psykill, okay,
Yeah.
he's a motorcycle.
yeah,
The Jet, Leader 1.
you're one. Yeah.
Scooter.
Scooter.
Yeah, Scooter. I wonder what he was.
He's an airplane. He was a scooter. No.
There's some other, oh my God. There's one called there's a limo, and it's called White Knight or something like that. Something stupid. They all have really bad names.
Trying to erase that toy line from the annals of history.
Oh, there's a GoBot called Crane Brain.
Is it a crane?
Yeah, and it comes out of his crotch.
So dumb. Funny.
It's stupid. Stupid. So you don't like GoBots?
Hey, GoBots.
I mean, I don't blame you. Growing up, I never had GoBots either. I just think they're kind of...
I think my mom bought me one or two of them. Like, get this shit out of here. I was like, I want Transformers. These are not Transformers.
I think GoBots are bad, but my
opinion
for this episode of Worst Toy Line,
Okay.
which I'll probably get some flack for, and I honestly don't care because it was stupid. Rock Lords.
It's an offshoot of GoBots.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they're rocks, but they also had vehicles.
Well, because rocks need vehicles.
It was and they all just transform into rocks.
You know, they're weird. But you know what's funny with Rock Lords? Okay, so there's a huge contingent of toy collectors who collect oddball vintage toys, and they love Rock Lords, but they hate GoBots. I just think it's funny because they're GoBots. Rock Lords was a spinoff of GoBots. But yeah, oh God, people love Rock Lords. I know that.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't have to me it's just for lack of better term, the poor man's version of the rock people from Masters of the Universe.
Oh my God, Stone Dar.
Rock On.
Rock On.
But whatever. But in closing here, I want to thank Ron for coming out.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Do your plug. Oh wait, one last question. What toy shows can we find you at?
Great. Okay, so the fall toy show season starting to come in full swing. So you can find me at the Great Ohio Toy Show in Xenia, Ohio. I think that's October 5th.
Yeah, it's the weekend before Toy House, whatever that is.
And you can find me at Toy Ohio on October 12th.
And what, the Mercantile Building?
Oh, I'm in the Mercantile, Building 4.
Yeah.
That's where you're at, too.
Yeah.
We're in Building 4 at the Great Ohio Toy Show. You can find me at Toy Ohio in my normal spot, which is like right in the first row, right when you come in. Then we're doing the Maryland Toy Expo in Baltimore, Maryland.
The first weekend in November.
Yeah, correct. It's I think it's like the third or second.
Or third.
And we're in the 4-H building. Rick and I are both in the 4-H building, which is the best building because, let's be honest, the lighting is amazing in it. Oh my gosh,
the lighting's good. Our building's also good for. There's just a lot of good vendors.
A lot of great vendors in our building.
Yeah.
And then we got Toy Palooza on like November 11th. That's down
the
in
weekend
Pittsburgh.
after.
Yeah.
Maryland.
So we got like 4 great shows coming up. And, then also Your Toy Connection, Ravenna, Ohio, 238 West Main Street, Ravenna, Ohio, 330-839-8939. And before we leave, I have some show and tell.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I didn't know we were done.
Show and tell time.
No. I wrapped it up really well, so
Uh-oh,
you
it must be
couldn't
rare.
see what it is. It's uber rare.
Show and tell time.
Actually, it's not show and tell. It's a gift for you.
What?
So here you go.
Oh, my God.
Here you go. You show the audience what it is.
It's if you can see it. We were in Chicago, and Ron has a store display in his window.
Yeah, I have this huge window display, so I decided to make it like a retro basement. So I have like vintage paneling and like an 80s couch and like an old console TV.
And I found this in Chicago.
It's a mail away Hamburger Helper. Does he have a name? Glove guy? What is he?
Glover or something like that?
So it's the glove from Hamburger Old Helper.
I found it in Chicago. I was like, Ron, you need to buy that for your display. Then after he bought it, I was like, God dang it, I should have bought it. Why did I let you buy it?
And he regretted letting me have it.
I did.
And it's been in my display for like 6 months, and I've had about 50 people try to buy it from me.
It's so awesome.
And I wouldn't sell it because I was going to gift it to you.
Well, thank you. I love this stupid thing.
My
it's
pleasure.
So dumb.
It is. I don't know. I never put batteries in it.
I don't care.
So.
It's going to sit in my kitchen.
Yeah. It's so awesome.
I love it.
Glovey.
And why the heck? Now I just now realize he only has 4 fingers.
Is that what the Simpsons have? Maybe that's where the Simpsons
Oh,
come
maybe
from.
it's Simpson glove.
Yeah.
But thank you for my Glover. I'm going to
You're
call him
welcome.
Danny Glover.
Danny. Oh,
My Danny Glover.
I love it.
Glock.
yeah.
Make sure to check out Your Toy Connection. Check out Ron at all the toy shows he will be at.
We have a website too, yourtoyconnection.com.
Oh, yeah. Follow him on Facebook,
Instagram. I don't post on Instagram a lot, but I am there.
He is there. October 12th, Toy How returns. And as always, you can get your tickets on Eventbrite, or you can pay for your admission at the door. If you get your tickets in advance, you get in earlier. So that's a perk. And you can also come check out Time Capsule Toys, located in not very scenic Niles, Ohio. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for having me.